Hi. Um, Today we are moving on to Unit 5 on turbines, hydraulic turbines. In first part, we are going to see Pelton turbine. So prior to that, we need to see a little derivation and introduction on certain things. So today we are going to talk about force exerted by water jet on water jet, which is tangentially approaching the blade. So tangentially approaching the blade which is a unsymmetrical and curved one. So in the previous classes we already discussed about water jet. What is the force exerted by the jet of water over flat plate and flat plate at horizontal configuration and slant configuration. All these things and all we discussed earlier. So today we focus only on curved plate, again especially on unsymmetrical curved plate. So symmetrical means when we dissect at the half of the section, the two portions will be same. So here it is not the case. So it is an unsymmetrical one. If we dissect at the center, there will not be, the two portions will not be same. So that is the unsymmetrical curved plate. So these blades will be installed inside the hydraulic turbines, namely, for example, here we discuss about Pelton wheel. So these blades are all from the Pelton wheel. So the blade obviously move at a velocity of u. So the blade is moving at a velocity u, and water is actually striking tangentially. So tangentially what it means. So water is actually striking tangentially through a water jet. So this is the water jet through which it is approaching the blade. So water jet has certain velocity. So this velocity is v1. Blade velocity is u. That's all. And when we talk about in water which is approaching the blade, these are all comes under inlet velocity triangle. So we are drawing the inlet velocity triangle here, and take the horizontal and take the blade velocity into account. So when we take that length and draw the horizontal line, means then it will intersect at a point. So there are two components of water jet velocity. One is wheel velocity and flow velocity. So wheel velocity is kept horizontal, whereas flow velocity is kept vertical. The difference between wheel velocity and the flow velocity is wheel velocity contribute to the movement of the blade, whereas flow velocity is contributing towards the movement of the water. So the two angles produced between V1 and U1. Similarly, V1 and wheel component will be alpha and theta. So in between we have VR1. VR1 is nothing but the difference between blade velocity and the blade velocity and the velocity of the blade velocity and the water jet velocity. That is the relative component. So actually relative component only going to exert the force on the blade. So if it is higher, then we will have more velocity. We have more force. Similarly, more force exerted from the blade. So similarly, in the outside, in the outlet, we have outlet velocity triangle with velocity v2 of water jet leaving and vf2 of water flowing at a velocity of vf2. Similarly, it has a horizontal component. Horizontal component always it is a will component, so it is called vw2. So the blade velocity moving is mentioned as u2. Similarly, the angle made between u2 and vr2 will be pi. Similarly, v2 and vw2 will be beta. So here, obviously, we will end up with so many lot of confusions, because here there are v1, vr1, vw1, vf1. So there are a lot of confusing terms here. So in order to distinguish them, we are going to see a little bit what is the meaning of such things here. In the next section, we are going to see that thing, so that we will have a better picture of everything. So there are two components. First one is inlet. So inlet is often mentioned 1 in the letter 1, suffix letter 1, and outlet is mentioned as 2. So we have all the velocities often termed as V. So these are all the velocities of commonly velocities of velocities, but blade velocity is termed as U to differentiate. Here there are three components, namely, first one is will component. So will component is very important one. So it is actually imparting energy towards the towards the blade. So this is the will component. It is often acting in the direction of the movement of the blade. So another component is relative component. So component of velocity. Relative component is nothing but difference between velocity of jet and the blade velocity. So this difference is called relative velocity. Similarly, the next component is flow velocity. So this component of velocity is only for moving the water from inlet to the outlet. That's all. So this component of velocity will not give any force towards the blade. So it only gives energy for moving of water in from the one section to the other. That's all. So for example, we are take arbitrarily VW2. So what is that meaning? V suffix W2. W is for will. So it is will velocity. 2 is for outlet. So it is outlet will velocity or will velocity at outlet. So that is the end. Then